nationalistic urges, or written in the service of rebellion or overthrowing an established culture, whether the motive is political or generational. Those are beyond the scope of this book. I'm not much interested in specific styles or genres either, as it seems to me that certain models and modes of behavior often recur across wildly different scenes. I hope that you will find something to enjoy here, even if you have no interest in my own music. I am also uninterested in the swollen egos that drive some artists, though the psychological makeup of musicians and composers shapes music at least as much as any of the phenomena I'm fascinated by. I have rather looked for patterns in how music is written, recorded, distributed, and received, and then asked myself if the forces that fashioned and shaped these patterns have guided my own work, and maybe the work of others as well. One hopes I'm not just talking about myself here. In most cases, the answer is yes. I'm no different than anyone else. Does asking oneself these questions, in an attempt to see how the machine works, spoil the enjoyment? It hasn't for me. Music isn't fragile. Knowing how the body works doesn't take away from the pleasure of living. Music has been around as long as people have formed communities. It's not going to go away, but its uses and meaning evolve. I am moved more by music now than I have ever been. Trying to see it from a wider and deeper perspective only makes it clear that the lake itself is wider and deeper than we thought.
Chapter 1. Creation in Reverse. I had an extremely slow-dawning insight about creation. That insight is that context largely determines what is written, painted, sculpted, sung, or performed. That doesn't sound like much of an insight, but it's actually the opposite of conventional wisdom, which maintains that creation emerges out of some interior emotion, from an upwelling of passion or feeling, and that the creative urge will brook no accommodation, that it simply must find an outlet to be heard, read, or seen. The accepted narrative suggests that a classical composer gets a strange look in his or her eye and begins furiously scribbling a fully realized composition that couldn't exist in any other form, or that the rock and roll singer is driven by desire and demons and outbursts this amazing, perfectly shaped song that had to be 3 minutes and 12 seconds, nothing more, nothing less. This is the romantic notion of how creative work comes to be, but I think the path of creation is almost 180 degrees from this model. I believe that we unconsciously and instinctively make work to fit pre-existing formats. Of course, passion can still be present. Just because the form that one's work will take is predetermined and opportunistic, meaning one makes something because the opportunity is there, it doesn't mean that creation must be cold, mechanical, and heartless. Dark and emotional materials usually find a way in, and the tailoring process, form being tailored to fit a given context, is largely unconscious, instinctive. We usually don't even notice it. Opportunity and availability are often the mother of invention. The emotional story, something to get off my chest, still gets told, but its form is guided by prior contextual restrictions. I'm proposing that this is not entirely the bad thing one might expect it to be. Thank goodness, for example, that we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we make something. In a sense, we work backward, either consciously or unconsciously, creating work that fits the venue available to us. That holds true for the other arts as well. Pictures are created that fit and look good on white walls and galleries, just as music is written that sounds good either in a dance club or a symphony hall, but probably not in both. In a sense, the space, the platform, and the software makes the art, the music, or whatever. After something succeeds, more venues of a similar size and shape are built to accommodate more production of the same. After a while, the form of the work that predominates in these spaces is taken for granted. Of course, we mainly hear symphonies in symphony halls. If you've never been to CBGB's, you've probably seen